Hi, welcome to Cringe Model Workshop, where the world's most impatient man tries to build scale models. We'll be starting off with T-90A. The T-72s are my favorite tanks, so I'll be featuring it often here on this channel. I've already planned a few future projects involving T-72s, and I even have the next T-72B ready in my stash. However, I'll make sure not to focus exclusively on T-72s. But you might ask, why talk about T-72s when this is a T-90? Well, let's be honest, no matter how much you like these tanks, the T-90s is essentially a glorified T-72. It may be modernized, but underneath all the new technology, it's still the same old tank. This model is made by Trumpeter, and we are building it straight out of the box, adding only workable tracks, also from Trumpeter. Let's start with the first detail, the damaged rubber wheel bandages. Using a sharp hobby knife, I'm carefully cutting the rubber wheels on the sides. This adds a small but effective detail that makes the wheels look more weathered and well used. It's also realistic, since real tank wheels do crack like this. Don't believe me? Here are some photos of a T-72 tank wheel that I took myself. Clear evidence of wear and tear. Is this detail really necessary? Not really. This tank won't look pretty and clean, and most likely all these cuts will be hidden under mud and pigments anyway. But at least I'll know it's there. The upper front plate is the same as on other Trumpeter T-72 models, so we need to drill some holes for the Contact 5 armor. The manufacturer even added some dents to help line up the drill correctly. Be careful when making the holes. I'm definitely not in the mood to use putty to fix mistakes. The new technique I want to try is making the visors more reflective. After masking the front side of the glass, I'll paint the back with metallic silver. This should make the visors brighter and more glass-like, at least in theory. The engine deck fits perfectly with no visible gaps. I've carefully bent the photo etch grills using a hobby blade to add some textures to the mesh, since this tank won't be factory new. At this point, the tank presents itself like this, and we start to see first problem with gap on idler wheel mount. We'll need to fix it with putty on the way. The rest looks fine and we can almost go to the next step. But before we start struggling with tracks, we need to clean up the CA glue. So we take this rozklejacz, or how you all call it, the debonder, and we brush it on all the jewelry on the tank, especially on those anti-radiation material screws, those little gold dots. Be sure to clean up all the dried up glue, as it will be painfully visible under the paint, and you will have to make some mental gymnastics with weathering and mud to hide it. Now, the first interesting thing with this build. The producent makes these mounts for fuel drums molded as a single piece like this, but I don't want to use them. Looking at the references, we can see that this can be mounted sideways, taken off completely, or taken off with screws still attached. I'm gonna go with second option. So I cut it off, sand it down, and drill some holes, like this. 3 more holes and we have complete element. Repeat 3 more times to finish up the rear plate. Time to deal with workable tracks. Workable tracks sounds cool as a concept, but depending on tank it can be pain to build. These have links made from 2 separate elements, but at least they attach to each other without cement. We need to make 166 of these. Prepare the tools and the good old reliable Tamiya extra thin, and let's get to it. They are molded like this with 4-pin ejectors, so every single link have to be cutted in 4 different places, making the work much more tedious and brain dead. And after all that, we need to prepare all the track guides. Better cut it as close as possible to avoid filing them. Let's try if they even fit together, if the workable tracks are actually working. So after we establish that workable tracks are actually workably working, we need to start attaching these track guides. Easiest way to do it is with tweezers. At least I haven't found any other more efficient way. Yes, it's that tedious and my poor attention span is starting to kick in. And after all that misery, it is finally done. And look, it even fit the drive sprocket. The mental gymnastic will start with attaching the tracks to the tank. It took me much more time than I would like to admit, but hey, the video editing makes it look much easier. And we are done. The tracks fit and the whole looks much better with them. The tracks wrap around idle wheels and sprocket nicely. If I remember correctly, I had to use one more or one less track length that Trumpeter claims. And yes, I know that towing cables on the rear of the tank do not bend like this. I have acquired that knowledge recently after I finished this tank. I do not know why this type of cable management seems reasonable for me at that time. Time to start working on the turret. I've mounted the PKT barrel into it, but it looks bad. The barrel is not looking like a barrel. Simple fix is to take a drill and just drill the hole in it. You can also use a hobby knife for it, but drills makes it easier. Honestly, buying a drill was a very good decision and it significantly improved the quality of my modeling life. Small detail, but it counts. Too bad it will not be visible on finished model at all, as it will be hidden by Stora system, those famous T-90's red eyes. We have it in two separate sprues, each containing every part needed. So I have started building these red eyes and I've proceeded to mount it to the turret. I was hoping to keep the canvas barrel cover separate for painting. Well, too bad. Trumpeter wants to have it mounted and have Stora mounts glued to it.
Aww.
I tried to keep it separate, but in the end I did as Trumpeter says. Time for more jewelry. Can't wait to glue these small gold dots. It will totally not be mentally exhausting. After all that, it's time to mount reactive armor. Be sure to line it up straight. Don't forget the roof armor. Now the turret is almost finished. But there is a small problem. I've already used the C37 light and the sprue is empty. What happened with it? I don't know and I will never know. The mystery will remain unsolved. Luckily, I remember I have some spare light in one of my previous before channel era T62 tank, so I used this instead. And that's it. The T-90A is finished. A little rushed build, but nonetheless I'm quite happy with it. Looks okay. Now time for some finishing touches. I want to use some stowage to add character to the tank, so I look for something in my tummy accessories. I fitted some bedrolls and bags onto the stowage bins. And also the tarps. All modelers must use tarps, those are the rules. I use milliput putty. Why milliput? I don't know, some guy on Facebook group told me that it's good. And of course random guys on Facebook are the most credible knowledge sources. I'm too stubborn now to switch to green stuff or Tamiya epoxy putty, so I am sticking with milliput. Just mix two ingredients for a couple minutes and start rolling on powder. form thin sheets and cut tarps out of it. You can use water to remove the powder. Now put it onto tank and fold it. The cooler the folds look, the better. Also, I put it in such a way that I do not need to make back straps, as tarps are over the previously attached bags. I honestly don't know why tarps are so popular in scale modeling. To be honest, I've never seen a real tank covered in as many tarps as modelers tend to put on them. And yet here I am using them on almost every model I built. And now time for the most important detail for me, metallic details aka 74U. Also, I'll try to use these upper buckles to form a sling for the rifle. In future videos I'll explain why I plan to add an AKS 74U to every tank where it's possible, and at least somewhat historically justified. I took a random photo etch plate and cut a strip out of it, then I bent it in some natural way and attached it to the AKSU. Now the AKSU with sling can rest on a tank. And the build is finished. Finally. Took me much longer than I wanted. Next episode we'll be painting this tank, but of course after I clean up my airbrush, because of course it is clogged and dirty. Plan for this tank is to be well used, so it will be weathered, rusted and covered with mud. Here you can see a little preview of what we'll be working on in the next episode. So, what did I learn from this build? Well, that I really need to be a lot more patient during the process, which is my biggest issue. Also, that I stutter when talking to the mic and waste time editing that out later. And that I only noticed how much I lisp when I hear the recording. I must sound pretty weird to the people in real life. Oh well. See you in the next episode where we will finish this hunk of junk. Bye.